Our state has some incredible problems. My name is Lynn Hinderrocker. I'm here to talk about that with you and talk about the trends that have shaped this state and dragged us in one direction or another. We're not really we're not realizing the dream we had way back in the early 2000s or even around 2008 or 9 or 10. My name is Lynn Hinderrocker. Welcome to WowBiz Nebraska. We're going to get it on right now. You got to make a lot of choices here at the beginning of WowBiz Nebraska, a lot of options, a lot of this or that, and we're going to create that kind of an option for you. It'll be clear because you're creating plans right now in the middle of the year in 2020. You got to make some decisions about how you're going to move forward, or if you're going to move forward at all, and just kind of wait for things to lift you and take you forward. I'm Lynn Hinderrocker right here on WowBiz Nebraska with my favorite commentator, Mr. Bruce Aaron. Good to see you.
Good seeing you.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. So here I've got a bongos, kind of reminds me of the early 50s
noticed.
and 60s. Yes. And what it does, though, it does symbolize duality, right? This or that.
Okay.
Right. So I'm going to give you some decisions that companies that are in a strategic planning mode, right, are going to have to make, and it's kind of a this or that.
So am I pretending I'm in a strategic planning
mode? Yes, pretend.
Okay.
If anybody in this world can pretend, you can pretend.
I can.
All right. So the first one would be strategy, implementation.
My choice?
Yeah. What do you think?
Implementation.
Implementation. I'm going to emphasize that. Yeah. Okay. Here, let's go a little bit further. We'll go effectiveness. Efficiency.
Effectiveness.
So you're going to be focusing on effective implementation. So
Yeah.
far, that's where you're at.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Let's keep on going. I'm going to hold it a little more steadily here. Differentiation.
Okay.
Competitive differentiation. Scale.
Differentiation.
Ooh, well, that's a small business. That's a natural deal.
Yeah.
Most large companies will say, well, we'll go with the scale. To heck with differentiation. That's too hard.
Yeah. I need to stand out, though.
You've got to stand out, right? But lowering costs through scale is a big deal, no doubt about that.
Right.
Let's see. Innovation, extension of existing products and services.
Innovation.
Ooh, well, that makes sense. Differentiation, innovation, you got to go with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Bundle together components of the organization and possibly competitors and bundle them together, or break them down and separate them out. Go out to the field, get people out in front of the customers, break down the organization so it's not too hierarchical and all that.
I'd say break down.
Break down.
Yeah.
Get the people facing the customer out in the field.
Right. I like face to face.
Okay. All right. Well, those are the dichotomies that people have to face.
Did I pass?
Oh yeah, absolutely pass. There's no right or wrong. You'd only know if you were right or wrong when you implement the plan
Right.
that comes out of those decisions. You know, ladies and gentlemen, there are questions that come up all the time in business, especially in this fast-changing business where there's cutting-edge things that are changing and so on and so forth. So we're going to share with you, Bruce Aaron and I are going to share with you the most difficult questions that business people are wrestling with today, and then Bruce and I will decide whether or not I'm going to answer them correctly. You're going to give me a softball right off the bat.
Okay.
Go ahead and throw some of these questions at me.
Down the row here.
Go ahead.
Lynn, name one trick that you have learned about computing and the web that gives you a little edge, something that few others seem to know about and that you do regularly, no matter how small it is.
Well, that is tough because it implies that I'm ahead of the curve, and I'm not always sure really that I am ahead of the curve.
Do you have a computer?
Yeah, yes, indeed. You know what? I'm going to say that the utilization of videos by using photographs, turning them into like super slideshow videos with music and using artificial intelligence. That's kind of the key.
Okay.
So that makes the graphics and everything's real kind of special and unique.
Right.
I think that's something that is cutting edge, and that happens to be something that I'm
It's innovative.
yeah, it's innovative.
Yeah.
I do that a lot, and,
Okay.
and I love the way those videos turn out. How about you? Got any tricks? And any,
I wish
applications or anything like that.
Yeah, I wish I could say I have some real tricks. To be honest, I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I spend most of my time in front of a drawing board.
Yes. Well, you're old school.
I
But if anybody knew how good your work was, they'd say, "Who cares about technology?"
I mean, I use a computer for writing and things like that, but
Sure,
I don't spend an enormous amount of time in front of a computer.
Wouldn't you agree with me that automation, all these different things, the way that, you know, for instance, when somebody sends you an email or LinkedIn, you push a button, and instead of actually having to craft a response message, you just hit a button and goes, "Yay," or "I agree," or "Thanks for."
I can't stand that.
I know. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying that kind of thing is pervasive.
I know, and it drives me crazy because I feel like it's lowering the bar for a lot of people
And it
because
takes
we need
sincerity
to,
away from the
well,
whole
it does, and we need to be able to exercise our real emotions and things like by writing, and fewer and fewer people are actually writing anymore.
Yeah, no, I have a real problem with that as well. All right,
So,
let's
okay,
go on to the second one.
Number two. Apple's Steve Jobs motivated his entire firm in 1997 when he reconciled confusion about Microsoft and the future of the company by putting up a pirate flag in his cubicle.
Yes.
What symbol would you use to tell everyone what your highest purpose is?
You know, I think that is a really...
Maybe you should explain a little bit. It was when Microsoft invested into Apple in 97.
Well, they wanted to.
Yeah.
Yes, and Apple was resisting them.
Right.
They did not want to actually, the employees didn't want to sell to Microsoft.
Right.
Steve Jobs had been invited to come back to Apple after being expelled, and then he was back.
Yeah.
And so everybody wanted to know, is Steve going to sell to Microsoft, or are we going to remain alone
Right.
and try to make it in this fast, high-tech world?
So that's what the pirate flag.
And that the pirate flag indicated independence, kind of a feisty attitude. We're going to do it ourselves and stay unique from Microsoft.
What symbol would you use to tell everyone what your highest purpose is?
Wow, boy,
That's a great question.
You what, yeah. I would say, by the way, my highest purpose is the fusion of innovation and inspiration.
Oh,
Okay, those two I's. So, you know, or strategy and spirit, right? Those are two opposite things, really.
Yeah.
Except for now in this world that we live in, they actually do they come
Kind of
together.
yin and yang.
It's a yin yang kind of a balanced thing. So, but I'm not sure what the symbol. I don't know.
I
the
don't know
symbol.
what the symbol would be.
But that's a fascinating thing. Let's go on to another one.
Okay. Well, then you're going to launch a new product or service into a crowded market segment that is price sensitive.
Yeah.
The product has already been engineered and is ready to manufacture and ship. Okay, time's a wasting. What are you going to do first? What's the very first thing? Are you going to create a 6-month plan?
Yeah.
Are you going to cold call companies on the phone?
Yeah.
Or are you going to reserve exhibit space at a trade show and design a display?
Boy, those are all three reasonable
So
options.
6-month plan, get on the phone, or go to a trade show.
You know, I think I'd get on the phone first before I'd write a 6-month plan, just to see what people say about it. You know, what the reaction
Take
is.
the temperature of...
Take the temperature of the marketplace, kind of stick my toe in the water, then create a plan that reflects that. Because we have no idea how hard or how easy it's going to be to get a customer.
I would agree. I certainly wouldn't go out and buy an exhibit space right off the bat.
I don't
Not
think
right
so.
away.
Not right away, but that might be step 3.
Oh, yeah. I think it's legit.
It's a legitimate lead generation
if you
tactic.
find that it might have potential.
Yes, because there's nothing better than having people come by and say, "Hey, I heard about you, and tell me what are you." There's nothing worse than standing there and people going by all day long saying,
I was just going to say there's nothing worse than,
It's very bad. All right, good. Number 4.
Just imagine this, Lynn.
Yeah.
About 66% of your employees are not engaged with their jobs. 80% of your employees believe that their managers are not effective.
Yeah.
This creates a big problem in productivity, and especially among younger employees, which just kills your profits.
Yeah.
Which of the following tactics would you invest in first?
This is heavy. This is a heavy deal.
Okay, would you give an inspiring speech every week about your mission, the company's mission and purpose? Would you provide coaching and feedback to underperforming employees? Would you take them aside and give them some coaching? Or would you provide recognition to people just for showing up and doing their job well?
Wow, those are 3 good and challenging options.
Yeah.
You know me well enough, I'd say, give me a speech. I'll give them a speech.
I was going to say, giving an inspiring speech, that would be a Lynn.
Yeah, that probably would be what I would default to.
Those are all tough, though.
I think the key in this situation to get employee engagement is to find out what get into their head, find out what it is that they want in life in general. Really, I mean, have a series of candid conversations with employees, if possible, and try to very deliberately link with where the company's at right now, you know, and link it to their agenda, their aspiration. Have some kind of a personal correlation.
See if you could help facilitate their personal goals.
Yes, exactly. You said that better than I could possibly say it. That would be the way to really kick. Now, if you have, you know, 1,000 employees or something,
Right.
that's really tough to do. But I think that even then, I would hire an outside consultant or coach, somebody to come in and do exactly that. Because if they wake up in the morning, they feel like they went to the effort to find out what I care about, you know. And then linking my job description and the company's mission to that. There's really nothing stronger than that.
It would give them a different perspective on their work and
Yeah.
on the company, actually.
And just think this, now this is so cutting edge, I hesitate to mention to it, but if you come to somebody and say, you know, you told me that you want to become a more literate and articulate person, we're going to provide some training in public speaking, and we ask your permission, we'll even correct you or make some suggestions if it ever comes up around here. So we really now are trying to leverage personal growth, not just acknowledgement of their goal, but actually contribute to their personal growth. Now that
would have some value.
That's home run stuff.
Yeah.
One more, we got very little time.
Analysts tell us we have one fundamental question to support our companies in this era. Okay, either scale, I think you brought this up a little bit earlier, scale or differentiate. That means get big and drive down costs, or stand out and bolster margins. Which makes the most sense for most companies and why?
Well, this is, I want to say differentiate, but deep in my heart, I feel like the answer is scale. Because it's so, efficiency makes more money in the short term than trying to be unique and effective.
However, I would counter that by saying most companies aren't big enough to make that big of a difference. They can, you know, become more efficient.
True.
But generally speaking, people want to stand out. Maybe that reflects my own bias.
I totally agree with you, but most of them are overwhelmed and they're like, who do I have to hire? How much money do you do? How hard is it to differentiate myself? Now, to a marketing guy or somebody like yourself and I, not that hard. But to most business people, that's a very daunting task, you know. We use the word daunting at the same time. Okay, well, we're here with Bruce Aaron at WowBiz Nebraska. My name is Len Hinderrocker, and I think we've just solved the world's problems there, you know,
pretty much.
But until next show. And but we want to talk for just a minute. The show is being brought to you by a consulting firm here in the Omaha area called Growth Dynamics, dynamix.org. Just make sure that we're clear on that. Growth Dynamics is a strategic innovation and development firm that works with both companies and communities, by the way, to help them revitalize and redefine themselves and pull together their resources and really rethink what they should be doing from the customer's point of view as opposed to their own internal concept and their operational model and how they think about how we produce a product and so on. Really, you get stuck there, and this particular firm, Growth Dynamics, will help jar you or shock you out of that paradigm, move you from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. That's a big shift, especially when it comes to companies that are well established, they're profitable, they've been around a long time, they think we're kind of doing okay. Bring in Growth Dynamics and help you think like a startup.
But you know, at this time with the whole COVID thing, as people are getting back into the lane, so to speak, they're going to have to be thinking a little bit differently than they had before, I think.
That's why working with this Growth Dynamics firm would be an ideal time. And you develop these plans and that's the other thing, I'm glad you brought this up. Growth Dynamics is excellent in this regard. Trend sensitivity, right? What's really going on out there? You know, what are people really thinking? Is fear and caution the only emotional motivation? Are we all defending ourselves? Are there others that are looking to gain or to get ahead? You know, one of the big defining trends in America today is, of course, thrift and value, right? Right now, even grocery stores business is down 20%. We'll just mention that to you, you know? It's an interesting thing. And the value revolution, of course, took place back in the 80s when Taco Bell came up with the very first value menu. I think we're in the second value, 2.0 value revolution right now, as people are saying, well, we got to hold on to our cash, don't know when I'm going to go back to work, don't know where the next dime is going to come from.
Right.
And so we're going to hold back on how much we spend. Also, 20% of all brand purchases are being switched right now to generic purchases. So I mean that's
huge.
That's a fantastic discussion to have. How would you, if you're the brand manager for Heinz ketchup, all right, or Wonder Bread, or something like that, right? And how do you hold on to these customers, these brand loyal customers who are clearly drifting away to generic products and displacing you? Well, anyway, Growth Dynamics can help you solve these problems. And I suggest you give them a call or look them up on growthdynamics.org, an ideal strategy and development firm, perfect catalyst for your growth at this point in time.
Sounds good.
All right, sounds good. Now, to come back with you, Bruce Arent, right now, you know, I want to put a subject on the table here.
Okay.
It kind of goes along with the era that we're experiencing right now, the whole, I call it post-pandemic. I'm very aware, of course, that it's really not post quite yet.
Right.
But there is a mental sense that we're going to try to get out of this now. And people don't know, maybe it's a third quarter or fourth quarter kind of thing. So, but here's the thing. Creating value on your own. You wake up in the morning, you get the people together in the office, here's our product, it's really great, we mark up the materials, go out and sell it, and then we'll produce it, it'll be great, you know. That's how it's always been done.
Right.
But the world is changing pretty rapidly right now, and the customer, the end user, is kind of bored with those products because they're only components in the total solution. Mm-hmm. You know, we just sit around and focus on, you know, the skins on the bongo drums because we think we're really good at making these skins, right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And we don't even think about it, but the fact of the matter is we're part of an orchestra, you know?
Right.
And the ecosystem that we're participating in is an orchestra or a symphony or a jazz group, you know, in a basement in San Francisco, whatever it is.
So we shouldn't be so isolated.
Shouldn't be so parochial in our thinking, and realize that what the customer really wants is not great skins that are well attached and sound good or whatever. They want to be the star of the or you know, of the jazz group.
Right.
Now that changes our thinking, right? So how do we do that, right? Because you can't go running around and say, hey, do you happen to make wooden bongo things? And we make the skins. You want to work together? It doesn't work too well.
Right.
Right. But if you're a member of a business network, you're a member of what is now being called a partner ecosystem, or a platform. The fact of the matter is that everybody that is part of that group, maybe it's a community, understands that, not all, but one of the purposes or the value of being part of a group is that you can combine, you can find somebody in the group that manufactures the wooden part, somebody that makes the screws, somebody else produces the cow skin or whatever, you know?
Right.
And then you can go find together, you can collect your, you know, combine your research, and you can go find the end user, a hippie in San Francisco or whatever, you know? And so that notion of bundling and collaborating and thinking about the not your industry, not really your industry, way beyond your product, even beyond your industry, but thinking beyond the ecosystem.
Interesting.
Right, and pulling things together and coming to niches and say, look, we got this all figured out for you.
And so many times in business, people, over time, they may acquire a lot of resources, a lot of collaborative efforts.
Yeah.
But they should always be looking for that kind of thing.
Yeah, but they don't know how to reach out and form even a dialogue or a partnership or a collaborate. It's just hard.
It's like, where do you go to find the guy to make the bongo skins?
Yeah. You typically go to trade shows that serve an industry.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the only place really where that kind of thinking goes on. But then you get back to the office and you forget about it. You know how that goes.
Yes, exactly.
But if you're part of something online and you're told, look, you know, here's 3 things you have to do if you're going to be part of this.
To be part of this community?
Part of the online digital community
Okay.
is you have to agree to take phone calls from companies that might sense that they could work with you. You know,
Okay.
2 + 2 = 5 and all that.
Right.
And so you got to create a kind of a special environment that lubricates the interaction between these people so that new ideas come up.
Right, and it's mutually beneficial.
Mutually beneficial. And so people who build these communities, they have to be aware of this. I mean, they have to be kind of staging these, at least getting people together.
Right.
So that they can see that things could.
So they're going to facilitate those types of interactions.
Exactly. Now, think about every state in the union right now. They got thousands of companies. All the companies are trying to figure out, how do we get out of this pandemic? And somebody comes along and says, well, why don't you join this group or this community? The state has put it together, or somebody's got this big community. Join that, and then look around and see if you can find some people that might want to do something with you. And I think that's the future.
So it's beyond just networking.
Oh, yeah.
Way
beyond.
yeah.
Way beyond network. It's forming value-added partnerships or relationships. You don't have to keep them permanent. You can work together for 6 months and determine who does what, and you like it, you don't like it, we got something out of it, no problem, we're going to move on and we're going to do something with somebody else. And we're going to sponsor every jazz group in southern San Francisco and make sure that all the club owners are part of our little collaboration of bongo skins. Okay? Because they're all related.
Yeah.
So it's holistic thinking, I think, would be the idea. The idea of, you've heard.
It's kind of the overarching concept, right?
Yeah. You've heard of the corpus callosum. I think that's you've heard of that.
I've heard the name, the term.
Corpus callosum is the dense set of all these nerves that connect the left and the right hemisphere of the brain.
Mine are all exposed.
And a little unbalanced, by the way. No, but they're in everybody's skull.
Okay.
So you can have a rational, logical thought over here, and then it'll go over here and you'll say, oh, I really have a strong emotional feeling about that guy or that company or whatever. I think logically and emotionally, that's a company we should do some business with. All right,
okay.
That's how it works. And whole-brained and all that. But an author named Dan Pink came out several years ago, and he talked about, he said, the right hemisphere of the brain is deeply underestimated in business. You know, we're all taught to be logical,
right,
analytical, sequential, process-oriented, technical, all those things. And he said all that crap can be outsourced to very intelligent people in India and wherever. The real crux of business is creativity and seeing associations and seeing connections between people and companies and research and industry.
Seeing opportunities that you wouldn't see otherwise.
You wouldn't see otherwise. In no way is even artificial intelligence going to uncover that.
Yeah.
And I think personally, that's the future of it for me. So,
but it's got to be a combination of both, because you do need.
You got to have a practical way to execute.
Right. Absolutely.
But I would go back to the very beginning of the show, and I mean, we could have conversations about whether strategy or implementation are more important. You know, you may have a team of people who are committed to implementation, and they hustle and they do what you say they do, and yet sales, could suck. Right. Because the backdrop of the world right now has changed so much, so the strategy might not be so great anymore.
Yeah, it might not fit.
Right. Now you need a new strategy and focus on the strategy, because all you're doing is running around doing a really good job but doing the wrong thing.
And I think, and we keep bringing this up, but I think strategic planning is going to be key, getting back in the saddle for people, because it has changed.
And what's going to be the primary thing? So it says, okay, here we are, strategic planning, we're paying you to come in and help us get this together, we got our people here, and what now? Right? What would be what would be a good, clever answer to that?
And this is vague, but I mean, it's all about asking questions.
Yeah.
Finding out, okay, are we still serving the same customer, or is it a new customer?
That's a really good one.
What do they want?
That's a really good question. I would also ask, what's going on in the world?
Right.
And how is that affecting demand for your product?
Right.
That would be a good one.
How is it affecting resources? Can we still get what we need?
Supply side stuff.
Right.
Yeah, can we even deliver?
Right.
Yeah, I agree. And is there somebody that we could work with, bundle our services with, that is complementary and would add value? This is what Seth Godin calls a soft innovation, where you don't have to come up with your own product. You don't have to redesign some manufacturer thing to make your product better. You simply go over here to find some company that's also adjacent to your industry and get that material right there. And suddenly now you can say, hey, Mr. Customer, look at this.
Right.
Not only do we have this, but we have this, so you can get started faster. And here's a little measurement thing so you know for sure whether or not you're efficient. It's really great. Here's a total solution.
And that is a triple win for the other collaborator,
Right,
and yourself, and for the customer.
Absolutely. And someone said, well, I've never seen that combination of features before. That's unique.
That's innovative.
It's the toughest thing in the world right now in the internet to be unique.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I tell you what, if there's 1 minute left in WowBiz Nebraska here today, I got to tell you, and if you don't think this is true, you come on my show and you can debate that with me at any time. Being unique, differentiating yourself, the hardest thing in the world to do. People are arrogant. They walk around and say, oh, we're really good. You know, we really think we're great. You know, everybody tells us we're good, blah, blah, blah. You know, you're a commodity, okay? I can find 16 more people like you within 10 miles that will charge me slightly less. Big deal.
Yeah.
And that's the sameness, the mundane, mediocrity and mundane. That's what we're really fighting in business today. And it shows up in our young workers. Yeah. And they know it. They get it.
Yeah, they're seeing it more than anyone.
We're not doing anything better.
But if you have bongos, you stand out.
If you have bongos, you know, I think you should do this. And we wrap up the show. WowBiz Nebraska. Thanks so much. I'm Lynn Hinderrocker. Bruce Aaron. He really likes bongos. That kind of fit. This kind of fits the
nice.
haircut that you have. Right?
It matches the shine. Yeah.
We'll be back next time. Thanks so much. Here on WowBiz Nebraska. I'm Lynn Hinderrocker. We'll see you next time with Bruce Aaron. We'll talk about some great stuff at that time. Tune in, pass it around, put it on YouTube, subscribe. Oh my God, that'd be great. Thanks again. Bye-bye. Thank you.